I didn't plan to stay. It was supposed to be 5 minutes, just long enough to borrow an outlet and check the map. But the way she looked at me when she opened the door made it hard to remember what I came for. Her name was Mara. Mid-40s, maybe. Loose sweater, hair tied back but not tight, strands falling near her collarbone. There was something unhurried about her, the kind of calm people carry after they've already been through too much noise. The living room smelled faintly of rain and coffee. She stepped aside to let me in, her voice soft, almost teasing. "You can use that one by the window," she said. I thanked her, plugged in my phone, and tried to act like it wasn't strange. A stranger's house, the quiet hum of an afternoon storm outside, and me, standing there, pretending to be casual while my heartbeat didn't listen. She moved with that easy confidence older people have, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. But there was something else underneath, something hesitant. Every time her eyes met mine, she looked like she might say something and then decided against it. "You look soaked," she said finally, glancing at my jacket. "Sit down before you drip all over my floor." Her tone was playful, but her eyes lingered too long. I sat. The chair creaked. She disappeared into the kitchen, the sound of a kettle starting. Steam drifted between us when she came back. She set down 2 mugs. "I didn't ask if you wanted tea," she said. "You look like you need it." "Thanks," I said, wrapping my hands around the cup. I didn't need tea, I needed something to say. There was a photo on the table beside her. A man, younger version of her maybe, or someone who used to matter. The frame had dust along one edge. "You live alone?" I asked before I could stop myself. She smiled, barely. "Most days." Her answer hung there, soft and unfinished. Outside, rain pressed against the windows. Inside, everything slowed down. My phone screen lit up with a full charge icon, but I didn't move. She noticed. "It's charged," she said quietly. "Yeah," I said, not reaching for it. Her lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Why don't you stay until it's fully charged?" The line was light, almost a joke, but her voice betrayed it. Low. Careful. Testing something. I met her eyes. "That's probably going to take a while." She didn't answer, just looked at me over the rim of her mug. The air felt heavier now. Every sound became louder, the rain, the ticking clock, her slow inhale. She brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, her fingers trembling slightly. It was such a small thing, but I couldn't look away. "You're quiet," she said after a moment. "So are you." She laughed, the kind that fades before it fully starts. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel awkward. But it did feel awkward, beautifully so. Like a pause that refused to end. She reached for the sugar jar, her sleeve sliding down her arm. A small scar traced along her wrist. I wanted to ask, but didn't. Some things were better left untouched, at least for now. I noticed her watching me notice. Neither of us looked away this time. Then a sudden sound broke the moment, a phone buzzing on the counter. Not mine. She turned toward it, but didn't move fast enough to hide the change in her face. Whatever name she saw on that screen pulled her somewhere else, somewhere I wasn't invited yet. The rain kept falling. The kettle clicked as it cooled. My phone blinked again, 100%. And still, I didn't unplug it. She didn't answer the call. Just turned the phone face down, the way people do when they don't want to admit it matters. The silence that followed wasn't awkward this time, just thick. Heavy. Like we both knew something about the other without saying it. "You can leave, if you need to," she said finally, without looking at me. "I don't need to." That made her look up. For a moment, neither of us moved. Her sweater had slipped off one shoulder, and she didn't fix it. She sighed, as if talking to herself. "You remind me of someone I used to know." Not how you look, it's the way you listen. I didn't know what to say to that. She smiled faintly at my silence. That's what I mean. Her voice had softened. She sat across from me again, legs crossed, tea untouched. I was married once, she said. 15 years. He was good at being elsewhere. She gave a small laugh that didn't sound amused. You learn how to live with that kind of quiet. I nodded. Not out of politeness, because I understood that kind of silence, even if for different reasons. My dad's the same, I said. Always away for work. Mom left when I was 9. Guess I just got used to being the one waiting for someone to come home. Her eyes flicked up. So you learned to stay? Maybe, I said. Or maybe I just don't know when to go. That earned me the faintest smile, sad, knowing, dangerous. The rain outside slowed to a whisper. Afternoon light spilled across the room, touching her hair, her hands, the gold ring she still wore but never looked at. She leaned forward slightly, elbows on her knees. You're too young to talk like that. And you're too young to talk like you're already done. Her breath caught, a small, sharp sound. She didn't look away this time. She reached for my cup, her hand brushing mine by accident, or maybe not. The contact was brief but electric. I didn't pull back fast enough. Sorry, she murmured, fingers lingering on the rim of the mug longer than necessary. Don't be, I said quietly. The clock ticked. The light dimmed. She sat back, rubbing her thumb against the cup's handle. People would talk, she said, almost whispering. If they saw you here. I'm not people. She laughed softly, shaking her head. You don't know what you're saying. Maybe not, I admitted. But I know how this feels. She closed her eyes for a second, as if that could stop time, stop meaning, stop wanting. When she opened them again, they were different. Softer. Brighter. A little afraid. She stood, walking past me toward the window, and I thought the moment was over. But then she stopped, turned slightly, and said, barely above a breath, you should probably stay until the storm passes. Her hand brushed my shoulder as she moved past. Just once. Just enough. And somehow, that was all it took to make leaving impossible. The storm had quieted to a steady drizzle, soft against the windows. Evening settled like a blanket, gray, heavy, private. Mara lit a lamp beside the couch, its warm light turning the room gold. The hum of the rain mixed with the faint buzz of my still plugged-in phone. We'd been talking for hours, or maybe circling each other in words that weren't really conversation. She stood at the window, arms crossed. You should have left a while ago. I know, I said, not moving. Her laugh was soft, tired. You don't sound convinced. I'm not. She looked over her shoulder. The air between us thinned. I could see her thinking, not about me, exactly, but about what this was turning into. Then, a sound broke through, a car pulling up outside. Headlights flashed briefly through the rain. Her posture stiffened. Oh, God. She stepped away from the window. That's Claire. My neighbor. She drops by sometimes. Should I? No. Stay there. Her voice was low but urgent. She brushed at her hair, checked her reflection in the dark window. Just, don't say much. A knock at the door. Mara opened it halfway, body blocking most of the view. Hey, Claire, she said, too bright. A woman's voice replied from the porch. Just wanted to check if you're okay, the lights flickered earlier. I'm fine, thank you. Just, had company. Company. The word hit different, quiet but undeniable. Claire leaned to the side, trying to peek in. Oh. Hi there. I gave a small nod from the couch. Hey. Her smile lingered a second too long before she turned back to Mara. Didn't realize you had someone over. Yeah, Mara said. Just a neighbor's son, his phone died, and the rain caught him. The lie was smooth, practiced maybe. Still, it burned to hear it. When the door finally shut, she leaned against it, exhaling. She'll gossip. It's fine, I said. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Her gaze snapped to me. That's easy for you to say. You'll forget this tomorrow. I'll still live here. Something in her voice cracked, not anger, but fear. I stood. You really think I could forget this? She didn't answer. The only sound was the rain and the steady tick of the clock, counting down the distance between us. I took a step closer. She didn't move. Another step. Close enough now to feel the warmth of her breath. Mara, I said quietly. Don't, she whispered. But her voice didn't match her eyes. The space between us collapsed, her hand brushed mine, then rested there, trembling. She didn't pull away. We stood like that, half breathing, half waiting. The kind of silence that begs to be broken. Then her phone buzzed again on the counter. The sound sliced through everything. She flinched and stepped back, her hand falling away. Neither of us spoke. The phone stopped. The rain started again. And though nothing had happened, not really, something between us already had. By the next evening, I was back at her door. I told myself it was just to return the umbrella she'd lent me, but even I didn't believe that. When she opened the door, she looked surprised, or maybe she'd been expecting me and hated that she had. You forgot something, I said, holding up the umbrella like a peace offering. She stared at it, then at me. You could have left it by the porch. I could have, I said. But I didn't. Her mouth twitched, the smallest surrender. She stepped aside. Come in before someone sees. The room felt different this time, darker, quieter, charged. A candle burned on the table, its light trembling against the walls. She didn't offer tea. Didn't say much at all. Just stood there, arms folded, watching me the way someone watches a storm rolling closer. Why are you here? She asked finally. Because I wanted to be. That's not a reason. It's the only one that feels honest. Her breath caught. For a second, she looked like she might laugh, but she didn't. You shouldn't say things like that. Why not? Because I'll start believing them. Her words hung in the air, and we both knew there was no pulling them back. I stepped closer. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. She shook her head, eyes closing briefly. You're too young to know what you want. Then teach me, I said before I could stop myself. That made her look at me, really look. The candlelight painted her face in soft gold and shadow. There was something raw in her expression, fear, longing, regret, all tangled together. She took a slow step forward. You think this is simple, don't you? No, I said. That's why I'm still here. Her laugh was quiet, shaky. You don't even know what you're asking for. I'm not asking, I said. I'm just, here. Silence again. The kind that hums. She reached up without thinking, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and my hand followed hers, fingertips grazing hers mid-motion. Her skin was warm, trembling. She didn't move away this time. Her pulse fluttered beneath her throat. I could see it, the small rhythm betraying her calm. I keep thinking about that night, she said quietly. About you sitting there, pretending not to look at me. I wasn't pretending. Her breath hitched, a confession caught halfway out. She took another step closer, and suddenly there was barely air between us. I could smell her perfume, faint, something like jasmine and rain. She looked up at me then, her voice barely audible. If I let this happen, it doesn't go back. I know. The distance between us disappeared until her forehead brushed mine. Every nerve in my body felt suspended, waiting. Mara, she closed her eyes, whispering back, "Don't say my name like that." And just as our lips almost touched, a knock at the door. Her eyes snapped open. Neither of us moved. The knock didn't stop. It came again, harder this time. Mara stepped back, breath unsteady. "Stay there," she whispered. I nodded, though I didn't move far. She opened the door just enough to see who it was. A man's voice came through, low but sharp. "You've been ignoring my calls." Her shoulders went rigid. "Now's not a good time, Daniel." "Who's here?" My pulse kicked. She turned slightly, blocking his view, but I caught a glimpse, tall, late 30s, suit still creased from work. "Just someone passing through," she said quickly. "Passing through?" His tone turned cold. "You don't let anyone in this house, Mara." The silence after that was longer than the space between heartbeats. Then the door slammed shut. She leaned against it, exhaling, eyes closed. "Who was that?" I asked, though I already knew. "My ex-husband," she said, barely above a whisper. "We've been trying to untangle things. He doesn't take hints well." I didn't answer. She turned toward me, searching my face. "You heard what he said. He still has keys, still thinks this is his home." I caught the flicker of panic in her eyes, not about him, but about me knowing. "You should have told me," I said quietly. "And say what?" She crossed her arms. "That I'm still cleaning up someone else's life while pretending I'm fine." "You don't have to pretend." Her laugh came out brittle. "That's easy for you to say. You don't know what it's like to be looked at like." She stopped herself, biting the inside of her cheek. "Like what?" She hesitated. "Like I'm someone who should know better." The words landed between us like glass breaking. I stepped closer, the air thick with what we weren't saying. "You think I don't feel it too? The way people would look at us?" Her eyes flicked up. "Then why are you still here?" "Because you looked at me first." Her breath caught. She turned away, pacing, fingers brushing her neck like she was trying to calm herself. "Don't do that," she whispered. "Don't turn this into something it's not." But her voice trembled. Her hands did too. I reached out without thinking, catching her wrist gently. She froze, not pulling away, just breathing too fast. Her skin was cool under my hand, her pulse erratic. "Tell me I should go," I said. She didn't. Instead, she looked up, eyes wet and defiant. "You shouldn't have come back." "I know," I said, stepping closer anyway. Her hand fell to my chest, flat against my heartbeat, as if testing whether it was real. "He still has a key," she whispered. "Then lock it," I said. Her lips parted, a breath, a decision forming, but she didn't move to the door. Instead, she leaned in just enough for her voice to reach my ear. "If I lock it, I don't unlock it again." And for the first time, I couldn't tell if it was a warning, or an invitation. She stood there, her hand still against my chest, her eyes searching mine like she was waiting for me to make the decision for both of us. The house was silent except for the slow ticking of the clock and the faint rumble of thunder miles away. Outside, the storm was returning. Inside, it already had. "Mara," I said softly. "Don't," she whispered, shaking her head, but she didn't step back. "You don't understand what this would do to me." "I think I do." "No, you don't," she said, voice trembling. "You'll wake up one day and wonder why you ever." I stopped her words by taking her hand, not forcefully, just enough that she had to feel what she was saying. "I've already been wondering about you," I said. "Every day since that first time I left and didn't." Her breath hitched, her throat working around a response she couldn't find. The candle flickered between us, light dancing across her face, showing every hesitation, every hope she tried to bury. "You make it sound so simple," she said finally. "Like there isn't a lifetime between us." "There's a door between us," I said quietly. "And you're the one holding it open." Something in her broke then, not loudly, but visibly. Her shoulders dropped, her composure cracked. She looked at me as if seeing me for the first time, not a boy, not a mistake, but something that scared her because it felt real. She stepped closer. The space between us shrank 2 inches. Her voice lowered to a whisper. "You don't know what you're asking for." "Then show me," I said. She exhaled slowly, the sound catching somewhere between fear and relief. Her fingers rose to my face, hovering there, trembling slightly before brushing my jaw. It wasn't a bold touch, it was careful, reverent, almost apologetic. The room seemed to hold its breath. Her forehead rested against mine. I could feel her heartbeat through the air, through the quiet. "This will ruin me," she whispered. "No," I said. "It'll remind you you're still alive." A tear slipped from the corner of her eye. She didn't move away, she just let it fall. Then, finally, she did something that wasn't safe at all, she leaned in. Our lips met, barely, a hesitant press that felt more like a question than an answer. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet but calm. "Now you know," she said. I swallowed hard. "And you?" She smiled, small and sad. "I've known for a while." We stood there, not touching anymore, but changed, the air different, the distance now full of meaning instead of absence. Outside, the rain started again, harder this time, washing the world clean. She reached for the door, hand on the lock, and said quietly, "Whatever happens next, it was never a mistake." And for the first time, I believed her. Morning came quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't rush you, it just waits. Light filtered through the curtains, thin and gold, painting the living room where we'd stayed after everything broke and mended in the same night. Neither of us had said much. Words would have felt too small. Mara sat curled on the couch, a blanket over her legs, tea cooling beside her. I was on the floor by her feet, my back against the same wall that had watched us almost fall apart. For a while, we just listened, the rain easing into memory, the slow hum of life starting again outside. She broke the silence first. "It feels strange, doesn't it? How normal the world looks after everything changes." "Maybe that's how it's supposed to be," I said. "The world stays steady so we can fall apart safely." She smiled, faint, real. "You talk like someone twice your age. Maybe that's why you like having me around." Her laugh came quietly. She reached down, brushing her fingers through my hair in a way that felt instinctive, like she'd done it 100 times before in some other life. "Maybe," she said. There was no guilt in her eyes now. Just softness. A kind of peace that made her look younger, lighter. "I was scared," she admitted. "Not of you, of what this made me remember. I haven't let anyone close since Daniel. I thought I forgot how." I turned to her, resting my chin on the couch cushion. "You didn't forget. You just stopped trusting that someone would stay." Her hand stilled for a moment, then continued. "And you?" I hesitated, choosing honesty over comfort. "I thought I was chasing something I wasn't ready for. But it turns out. I just didn't want to be looked at like a kid anymore." Her eyes softened. "I never saw you as a kid." We sat with that truth, the air around it gentle, forgiving. After a while, I reached for her hand. She didn't hesitate this time. Our fingers intertwined easily, warm, familiar now. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead against mine. "I don't know what happens next," she said. "Then we don't have to know," I whispered. "We can just be here." Her breath brushed against my cheek, and for a long moment, there was no space left to fill. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds, catching on the wet glass, scattering light across the room. It felt like the world exhaling. Mara sighed softly, her thumb tracing circles against my hand. "You should go soon," she said, not as a dismissal, but a truth spoken gently. "I know. But you'll come back." I smiled. "If the rain starts again." She laughed, shaking her head, but her eyes said yes. When I stood to leave, she rose too. And before either of us could make it awkward, she reached up and pressed a slow kiss to my forehead, a promise more than a goodbye. The kind of kiss that said, "We survived the storm." Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next?